Hi, I'm Maria, Lloyd, FinancialJuneteenth.com, and this evening I'm speaking with Andre C. Hatchett of Buy Black NYC. How are you, Andre?
Doing great, Maria. How about yourself?
I'm good. I can't complain. Well, actually, no, I am going to complain because we ran across this very tragic story about a prominent black-owned barbershop in Bed-Stuy, right? Did I say that right? Bed-Stuy?
Yep.
And yeah, and this barbershop, which is called Head Hunters, right? Head Hunters, is that what it was called? Head Hunters, and it was, it was well known by the notorious B.I.G. It's been around for 70 years. 70 years. And last year, on the 31st of December, the owner had to close his doors, not because there was no longer a customer base, although they did mention that gentrification in the area is starting to put a little bit of a dent on the customer base, but because the landlord went up on the rent. And as you can imagine, Andre and I were quite livid to know that these people had rented out space for 70 years. So I'm gonna toss it back over to you, Andre, and you kind of go through the details. Obviously, there was not just one owner; there was more than one over the period of 70 years. But I want you to go ahead and give the audience the details.
Okay, so going to barbershop since 1947 in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn. Formerly known as Do or Die Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn has really changed over the years. The owner who took it over in 2003, so he became the most recent owner after the past owner died. But the business is building. It's what we're talking about here, the building. Because the business is in the building, of course. Without the building, there's no business. Has been leased out for 70 years. So that's a long time to pay people rent. So if we assume that every barber in there has been a black-owned barbershop, they've all given little money for 70 years. I don't know that they're white, but let's assume that they're white. What I found out, Maria, is that the building was sold in 2006 for $600,000. So I'm not sure what happened there. I don't want to give these people. I don't want to assume what these people have done or didn't do. So that they would have built that building in 2006 for $600,000. Now it's worth estimated $1.7 million.
Wow.
More than doubled in 6 years, which I believe, because I know the area is really going up a lot. So there were a few different time periods over the past 7 years where they could have owned the building, rented out the apartments on top, lived in the apartments up top, and this scenario could not have even happened. They could have owned everything and a position. Yeah, so it's sad.
It's tragic. And I know when I brought this up last night on my Facebook page, one of my dear friends criticized me and said, well, you don't know these people's story. There must be something behind it. Maybe the last owner who took over in 1996, actually, maybe, he owns his own home and he owns a car, and that's why he never purchased his business, where his business was located. And, and that, to some extent, that could be true, right? It could be true, but I mean, you have to wonder, before this guy took over in 1996, I mean, I'm assuming that the other person who passed away before this guy took over had it for almost 50 years. And, one question that was raised last night was, well, how much do you think a barber is making to the point, that would allow him to afford to buy this building? And I said, well, a barber probably does not make that much. However, a barber shop owner should be making enough, I would think, to own the land on which he stands, which is a phrase that Dr. Boyce Watkins uses a lot. I mean, I just don't understand. And and they claim that this establishment was like a staple in the community for the Black community. People would come there and stay for hours, and it was more than just a barbershop. It was more than a place that men would go to get glammed. It was actually a staple place for the community where they would actually discuss community things, and they would teach each other lessons, and the older men would teach younger men and vice versa. And, it kind of makes me wonder, with Black America, like I remember when I read the story, which was on DNAinfo.com, I believe is the URL. I remember at the end, they mentioned one customer by name, and they said that he'd become overwhelmed with emotion on the day that the barbershop was going to close. And he compared that experience to attending a wake, which I was like, wow, right? That's heavy. That is. And I'm very sad that the place is closing down for them. It seems like this is really a vital part of that community. But what really frustrates me is with Black America, you have these institutions that we claim to value and love. However, we don't put any economic support behind these institutions. Now, in this case, obviously, I have no idea if the barbershop owner actually asked his patrons to support him financially, aside from, just getting a haircut, right? But what I'm saying is, it's very frustrating, even when you think about the HBCU in Atlanta, Morris Brown. That land has now been sold off to the city of Atlanta, and who knows what's going to happen to it now. And that campus was a staple. It had a lot of significance just in Black Atlanta in general. Atlanta has a lot of rich Black history. So that campus played a large role in that history. And now it's no more. We don't have that campus anymore. That school is just gone. And I'm just so annoyed with us claiming to love things, professing that we just love our Black churches. We love our Black schools. We love our Black barbers. But we don't put our money where our mouth is. So what are your thoughts about this, Dre?
My thoughts on this, I saw the guy's post about the car too, and I'm like, that's part of the damn reason is he's financing these damn cars. That's part of the reason why he's promised about the financing. He might own the car. Well, cars are liabilities. Unless the car is making you money, I sell real estate. I own my business. It pays for me to pull up in a nice car. I just got that nice car after I had 2 businesses and I had 2 houses. So 3 years ago, I got a nice car. Before then, my parents would laugh at my car. I had a 1997 Nissan Maxima. It had a hole under the brake. All right, in the floor mat, there was a hole. Yes, 250,000 miles.
Man, that was dangerous, Dre.
It wasn't that big. Well, look at my sneakers. These are my sneakers that I wear. My friends laugh at my sneakers. They are New Balance. It costs $40.
Hey, that's what's up.
And they have Jordan, so they're like, "Oh, Trey, you got those sneakers." And I'm like, "Do I look like I care? I don't care about those things." But anyway, we need to prioritize our stuff. We need to prioritize our shit, if you put part of my language. Because oftentimes we have the money, but we spend it on bullshit. So it's tax time coming up, right? It's tax time coming up. A lot of people are going to get back between $3,000 and $7,000. Do you know what you could do with $7,000 now in this economy, in this market? I was looking online. I pulled it up, right? I did a piece. I was in a documentary, as you know, called Blackification. Mm-hmm. And I hate the word gentrification. I hate how it's overused. So in the article, go back to the article for a second. Due to the increase in rent and gentrification, I'm like, I have no problem calling out white people on their crap. I have no problem fighting white supremacy to the end. I love it. I'm going to go at these cats, and we're going to get whatever we got to get from this place, right? From a die shrine. But some things are in our control. Somebody bought that building in 2006. That building was sold for $600,000. Now it's going for $1.7 million. It's worth. They're not selling it. They're holding on to it until it's worth probably $3 or $5 million, which probably be in 10 years. Could we not have got it then? Could the guys have not have gotten it then? It's not that hard to get a mortgage for $600,000 when you have a bunch of people. Right. You got 5 people. I don't know his scenario, but let's just assume for a second, right? Let's say he has 5 people, all over 600 credit score, all with $5,000 for the down payment. You could get that building. You could live up top, rent out the bottom portion where you keep your barbershop, and you can have a very comfortable life. Now, sometimes we get so consumed in our neighborhoods, we want to be the staple in our neighborhoods, but meanwhile, we're broke.
Right.
So I pulled it up. In the documentary called Blackification, we started in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn. We showed how it was a dump 15 years ago was do or die Bed-Stuy. 15 years ago. Now it's vibrant, gentrified, and all that. So a lot of us are priced out. But Newburgh, New York, because the property's in Newburgh, New York. Newburgh, New York is about an hour and 15 minutes north of Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn. There is a building here that the city owns, and the city is asking $150,000 for the building. The building has 3 apartments up top and a storefront. So the brother could put his barbershop in the storefront,
right, and
rent out or live in the apartments up top. I broke down the rent roll. Okay, so the rent. Let's assume that it's 1 3-bedroom, 1 2-bedroom, and 1 bedroom up top. That rent roll would be an estimated $3,200 a month in cash flow if you rented out all 3 apartments. Then he has a store at the bottom. Let's just say he rented out. He bought the building and rented out the whole thing. He could make with the storefront $4,500 in gross rental income a month.
Wow.
An hour and 15 minutes north of where he is currently. So let's just say he put his barbershop at the bottom, lived in the apartment up top, had another investor live in one of the apartments up top, maybe his mom, maybe his in-law, maybe his boy who's reliable. Each of you guys are paying a fraction of what you guys used to pay in Brooklyn. Now you own the whole building. No one's kicking you out. I am so fucking tired, Maria, of us in the black community saying increased rent, gentrification, we have to move. I beg my life. I'm just tired of begging for white people for anything. I'm sick of it.
Yeah, it's weak. It's weak.
We work together. We don't have to.
Right. I agree. I mean, it's, I definitely feel your frustration, Dre. It's very weak. Just like we have to start, like you mentioned, partnering. Find like-minded individuals. I gave up a very long time ago of trying to get a whole bunch of black people to be on board. You just won't. You just won't. I mean, even if you look at right, exactly. Even if you look at the United States, they claim the so-called 1%, just 1%. Owns like 90% of the stuff in this country, or not necessarily owns, but controls about 90 or so percent of things in this nation. So again, we don't need everybody, and I'm done trying to get everybody on board at this point.
Decision you made.
Well, thank you. So, it came after many days and nights of frustrations. So at this point, I am literally only looking at like-minded individuals because I realize it's going to take people like you and myself who are fed up with the excuses, with the mismanagement of funds, with the constant bickering and crying when we're being, quote unquote, priced out of these communities that we thought that we owned, but you don't own anything in it. But you somehow expect somebody to feel sorry for you when you can no longer afford to live there. So, yeah, I feel your frustrations. I'm done playing with people who want to sit around and complain and then get, upset when even when we speak about, quote unquote, black leadership. Okay, you have organizations like, the NAACP, and people would get upset when they accept a big donation from Coca-Cola, and then they're silent when it comes to speaking out against Coca-Cola. Well, you don't bite the hand that feeds you, right? I mean, if Black America is serious about advocacy and civil rights, you have to put the money behind the organizations and the people who fight for you. Otherwise, when they decide to remain quiet after getting that big donation from a corporation, you cannot blame them. So start putting your money where your mouth is. Instead, and I'm not knocking people who marched and all of that. I think it's beautiful. We need all of that. What I'm saying is those of us who don't necessarily march or any of that. I mean, I know personally I've been too busy as of late to march or anything. And plus I need to see a clear purpose behind all of that. Right. Exactly. I'm not going to go through the whole emotional run of just doing things just to do it because it looks or sounds good or it's trendy. I'm done with that. Okay? What I do is I put my money behind people and organizations who are making a difference. Point.
And you wear hats too.
I do, yes. Speaking of which, get your nice buyblack.usa.net cap, which I got from Brother Dre. Thank you so much. But yeah, I mean, basically, you know, every month I make a contribution to a Black ran organization. It comes straight out of my PayPal account every single month. In addition to that, I donate financially. Again, financial donations. I put my money where my mouth is. In addition to that, I give to people or individuals who are looking for financial assistance for fighting certain cases. Any families that are just struggling, if they lost a loved one and they can't afford the funeral and things like that. I put my money where my mouth is. Okay, I put my time where it's utilized the best. So I'm not condemning anybody for marching or anything like that. Again, I do think those things are important. I am the person who will come behind the protesters and put my money behind what they're standing for, as long as it makes sense. And we have to start putting our money where our mouth is and stop complaining and being reactionary when we're getting pushed and just subjugated to no end because we're not serious. We don't really take ourselves seriously, and then we somehow expect everybody else to take us seriously. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah. I think the word "we" was actually dead on when we said it earlier. And we need to always be on a defense. We need to stay pissed off. Integration made us so comfortable.
Yeah.
It made us so comfortable and passive. We need to always be on a defense. So let's say the brother or one of the guys who are at the barbershop for all these years, let's just say they said, okay, you can't buy it now, but look, talk to his wife, talk to his kids, talk to his uncle, talk to his two boys. It was we need to own a building within 3 years when the lease is up, 5 years when the lease is up. We need to own a building, whether this building is somewhere else. So we're going to stay home. We're going to save our money. We're going to eat turkey meat and pasta, or sometimes maybe pasta and sauce for 3 years, but we're going to own this building. For me, as a dude, as a guy, as a man, I would hate to step to a sister and say, yeah, my landlord pushed me out. I would hate
I know.
I would feel like a child. I don't even know if I could date the person after that. I would just I would feel like, whoa. And, we need that kind of, I'm aggressive, I'm assertive,
right.
It's just jungle dude, but we kind of need that pissed off approach on a daily basis in order for us to get our shit together. Because if you're pissed off daily, you'll be okay with eating pasta and sauce because you know that money you're saving is for a better cause. And you can be able to tell your woman, hey, look, take $5,000 out of your 401k. I got 15 here. Look at this building. Look at this. We can go over here. We can get search into an ill bed and breakfast. I actually got one on here not being an ill bed and breakfast. So I'll email it to you later.
Okay.
It's an ill bed and breakfast. You can quit your job in 2 months. Your uncle's been out of work. He can come help me fix it on the weekends. I can bring my son with me. I want the brothers to be at the head of this shit. At the head of this. Because what we're in right now, a lot of people don't know, we're in a black civil rights movement, but that's on an economic basis. We're on an economic black civil rights movement. Right. That's how this next fight is going to be fought. And I think the brothers, just on a pride basis, just on a straight up impress your woman, impress your mama, but the younger brothers on a pride basis to get out here and to get some of these properties, turn them into businesses, own where you live, own where you work, and just rock it out from there, man. Right. Yeah. My only words, I guess, would be, really 3 things. 1, look into investments outside of America. Okay. I mean, to be quite honest, Africa is ripe. It is ripe for investment opportunities. Africa, I'm going to repeat that. Africa is ripe for investment opportunities. Forbes is reporting about it. Bloomberg Business Week has been reporting about it several times. All of these major publications are telling us over and over. They're not necessarily telling us, Black America, because they don't think that we read this material. But they're telling their readers, invest in Africa in 2015. Black America, do not come to the table last like we always do. We got to step up now. There's a sense of urgency because white America is already on top of Africa. IBM has already set up tons of tech hubs in Nairobi.
And there are so many other things that are happening in between Lagos, Nigeria, and so many other great nations in that continent or on that continent. So don't come late to the table. The second thing is partnerships. Do not be afraid to partner with like-minded individuals. Just like Dre and I just said, Dre, you just said you were going to message me about the bed and breakfast. We have to form valuable partnerships. This is the only way that Black investors, Black business owners will be able to progress and actually become competitive in this capitalist society. We have to partner. So again, not everybody is going to be on board. No, not everyone's going to get your vision. That's totally fine. Find like-minded individuals. Right, exactly. Most people won't. This is true. This is true. Most people won't be on board. I mean, even Harriet Tubman, a woman who I love and adore to the utmost, even she says she could have freed several more slaves if they had actually known they were slaves. So you have to move in the spirit of our ancestors, because we got people right now who are in slavery and don't even know it. Okay, so again, finding like-minded individuals. And the last thing I would say is, once again, just putting your money where your mouth is, okay? Instead of being reactionary every time somebody gets shot by a white person, but somehow we're, not really raising our collective voices when these shootings are occurring daily in the Black community. And don't get me wrong now, I know that there are people who are consistently speaking out against quote-unquote Black-on-Black crime. So again, I'm not criticizing, because I'm very well aware that there are organizations and people who actively fight Black-on-Black crime daily, right? But where I get frustrated is Black America relies on white-owned mainstream media outlets to tell us what's important in our community. So when CNN tells us that the Michael Brown and Darren Wilson shooting is more important than, say, a shooting in Chicago where, a 9-year-old boy was shot and killed by gang members, well, I think I have a problem with that, right? Because it doesn't make sense. We need to stop depending on white-owned media to tell us what issues are of importance in our community. So please stop looking to the white-owned mainstream media for imagery of self and for relevancy of what's happening in your community. So those are the only 3 things I got. Dre, I'm going to go ahead and toss it over to you, and you can wrap it up here.
All right, cool. I have a few phrases that I live by. One of them is own or be owned.
Great.
So you're owned or you're going to be owned. There's no middle ground with this.
Right.
It is not an overnight process. Practice delayed gratification. When I bought my place that I'm in right now, when I was 22 years old, I was on the bus. I had an 800 credit score and I had money in the bank, but I knew I wanted to get my own place that I own so I could bring honeys here and tell them that I own my own place, all right? Build equity, and it could be a long-term investment. I like the honeys. Let's call it what it is. So, but honestly speaking, all of us like honeys, but some of our brothers are buying Jordans to impress honeys. Some of us are buying buildings to impress the honeys. Let's call it what it is. That's what we do. So own or be owned, keep that as a philosophy, and do your best and leave the rest. I had people who laughed at me when I bought my own place. They were like, why are you buying I have a co-op, like a condo. Why don't you buy a house or a condo? Why don't you do this? They literally called me wrong and laughed at me. Then 2 or 3 of them asked me to rent out my place from me after I was in here.
Wow.
So set your own trend. Don't be afraid to disappoint people. Most people won't get your vision if you're a visionary. If you're an entrepreneur, so you're a Black entrepreneur, most of our people will not get our vision. Don't worry about it. It's okay. They will hop on our coattails later.
That's so true.
There's a couple of people to partner with. I even had people who left my Buy Black NYC idea, and now we're doing Buy Black USA in a few months. So do your best. Leave the rest. Be proactive. Go to your local city hall. Go to your local county clerk's office and get a list of the city-owned properties. It is tax return time. I'm taking off my hat for this one. If you waste your money on stupid-ass Jordans, don't call me. Do not look at me. We cannot be friends. You need to buy one of these properties, or you need to invest in some stocks, get a Roth IRA, do something with your money. We are in crazy times. And for the brothers, on a sheer pride basis, I want to be able to step to the blessings to even like a platonic friend like you and say, look, I'm doing something for the cause. There's police killings out here. There's Black on Black crime. There's so much stuff going on. But I'm doing something. I'm doing something for my own personal masculinity, for the cause, so I can have something that I can pass out to my family.
Right.
So get out here and get busy, get some assets, and let's learn from what these brothers didn't do with the barbershop. Again, I don't know the reason why, so let's not. It'd be unfair for me. It'd be unfair for me to pigeonhole them. But the bottom line is they didn't own the building.
Right.
Now they had to go. Bottom line, they didn't own the building. Now they have to go. So let's look at how we can own more buildings, especially commercial buildings. Buildings with the commercial space at the bottom, apartments on top. Those things are gold mines. Go to homepath.com. Check it out. Hopefully you guys can get a couple. That's it, Brother Trey.
Well, thank you so much, Brother Dre. And to our Financial Juneteenth community, thank you guys so much for checking us out daily. We just launched the Financial Juneteenth University segment of this website. So please stick around. We have so many valuable resources coming your way. And thank you all so much. And Brother Dre, again, thank you for joining me.
Get back, buy black.
All right. Peace.
Later.